Hello and welcome to Future Predictions for Education. I'm Debbie Sprouse. It is the year 2041. Traditional education is archaic and obsolete. Online, individualized, personal self-learning is the norm. Diversity in pedagogy and methodology is not only embraced, but expected. Virtual reality classrooms and technologies are where it's at. Post-secondary education is funded by companies seeking innovative employees, and creativity among young learners is at an all-time high. In other news, Stanford University published a study on massification in the year 1997. They explained that prior to World War II, only a minute percentage of the U.S. population sought post-secondary education, and most were white males. During the 1960s and 70s, the number of individuals seeking higher education in the U.S. spiked exponentially. The rise became known as massification. No longer was it solely Caucasian males, but blacks, Hispanics, and women were flocking to college campuses as well. National economic growth was a major contributing factor to this increase in need for demand of higher education. Thus, people were seeking associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees by the hundreds of thousands, spiking to 1.2 million by 1992. Flash forward to 2009, and the New York Times declares that 70% of high school graduating classes of the high school class of 2009 were enrolled in college by the fall. Those numbers were unprecedented. By 2015, the term 21st century learning was commonplace and became synonymous with real-world relevancy in education. With the increase in technology worldwide and the speed and ease by which information could be obtained, it became necessary to reinvent the way in which students and adults were educated. This was happening across the globe. Students and their parents and other advocates began demanding meaningful and relevant applications for their learning. Thus, ideas such as Project Lead the Way and other hands-on project-based learning cropped up. Students began working collaboratively to complete and create meaningful works such as robotics and solar boats. Teachers' roles began changing as well. No longer was the teacher master of all knowledge, but now she became a facilitator of knowledge, guiding and helping her students achieve mastery on their own through inquiry-based learning. Online education, with its tantalizing offerings of individualized personal learning, began springing up all over the world. Even in the U.S., private institutions and publicly funded ones such as K-12 and Khan Academy began wooing students away from the traditional and archaic ways of the 19th century learning and into more modern and transcendent methods of relevant education. Some of these types of learnings included gamifications and collaborative work. Gaming had been around as a teaching tool for years, but it didn't really take off until Minecraft emerged, thus bringing into a new era of learning. New innovations such as Google Cardboard allowed students to take virtual field trips without even leaving the comfort of their home. They could go on to wild adventures, have 3D tour experiences. And then came Google Glass, which allowed us to do this even more easily. Innovator Alec Kipman created HoloLens technology, which made learning even more exciting by allowing students to actually feel as if they were visiting archaeological sites, foreign lands, and taking trips through the cosmos. Classes were now conducted by experts in the fields, and students could chat with them in real time and collaborate. During this time, we also see a spike in education costs of post-secondary education, where we see rates and debt climbing at an all-time high. In comes Srimanta Maitra and her global virtual incubator of enterprise-ship that she founded, called 1 Million by 1 Million, in which her hope was to aid 1 million entrepreneurs to reach 1 million in revenue. Mitra had an outlandish idea, and that was to bring internships and apprentices back. And so they saw a rebirth at this time. Ingenious companies also began coming on board, such as Microsoft and Google. They began offering college interns apprenticeships to train them using hands-on experience. They even began paying colleges for turning out such future employees. Thus, free online post-secondary education began cropping up. And with the U.S. economy in such dire straits, many eager students began taking advantage of this in order to avoid the staggering debt that beleaguered their parents. Flash forward again, and we are in the 2030s. By 2030, traditional schools are now almost completely abandoned. Public learning centers educate students who are not able to work from home. However, students all learn individually and are based on subject of interest and not grade level or age. Virtual reality learning has replaced textbooks and allows for more on-the-spot understanding and meaningful experience within the subject matter. Students are excited about learning again and actually have hope for the future that they will be able to put their education to use in the real world and become productive members of society. With corporate giants footing the bill for most of the country's education, the U.S. economy thrives once again, and the Humans to Mars summits of the past, headed up by former astronaut and PhD Buzz Aldrin, successfully landed us on the red planet. The future, well, creativity is flourishing, ladies and gentlemen. Children are the innovators, and their designs are being met with wonder and accolades from the corporate giants. Computers are faster and more engaging than ever we thought before. And who knows, perhaps one day we will actually be achieving Mars. Thank you for listening.